disturbingly sugary. This is prime hydration. Yeah, all this is trash. Alright, it's the end of the year, I'm tired, I'm hormonal, and I promised myself an easy, fun one. Does it look like anybody's having any fun here? I'm eating YouTuber food in a car in a Los Angeles parking structure. The mild carbon monoxide poisoning is part of the experience. So all of this is kind of old news at this point, but MrBeast, aka James Stephen Jimmy Donaldson, aka the most subscribed to YouTube channel of all time, has slapped his very lucrative name on a few branded food products. And because food and my weirdo relationship to it is kind of a running theme on this channel, I have been meaning to do a little taste test for like a year and a half now. It's just been kind of low on my list of priorities. It's also kind of old news at this point, but MrBeast, aka Jimmy the Donaldson, has been embroiled in a number of controversies and high-profile lawsuits, all of which feature his shitty food in some way or another. So what better opportunity for me to talk shit while I'm eating it? Hi, I'm Hoots. This is my channel, and today we're indulging in a little cursed MrBeast themed mukbang. Hey, speaking of shameless YouTubers, let's roll to ads. This video is generously sponsored by the folks over at Lingopie. Earlier this year, I documented my arduous and ongoing attempts to master the Finnish language, as well as my trip to Finland with my best friend, Tammy. Language learning can be a bit of a grind at times, and it's so important to find ways to keep it fresh and interesting. Lingopie is a language learning application that allows you to learn your target language through watching your favorite shows and original content created for the platform. They also offer live lessons with tutors for groups and private tuition. Lingopie doesn't offer Finnish as a language yet, and I'm begging them in this ad read, please, 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 please add Finnish, you guys. I need this for my continued study. So I chose Mexican Spanish because I live in Los Angeles. Lingopie's UI is really great for all levels of language learners. It allows you to toggle on and off both your target and native language captions, will auto-pause and show you definitions when you hover over a word, allows for lots of different video speeds based on your experience level, and there's just such a wealth of content aimed at different age ranges. There's over 3,000 shows. You're not gonna run out. I really felt like this was language learning that was designed to be entertaining, but not gamified, if that makes sense. It's not about ticking boxes or maintaining streaks. It's about understanding, which is the goal, right? As a language student of going on 6 years now, I can say that this is the kind of tool that can really be used to support traditional classroom language learning. Lingopie is offering my viewers a 7-day free trial plus 55% off an annual plan if you decide that Lingopie is for you. Please visit the link in the description to get your 7-day free trial and 55% off your first year of Lingopie today. Thank you to Lingopie for sponsoring this video. For ad-free versions of this and all of my videos and access to my sidebar videos, please subscribe to my Patreon or channel members. This month's sidebar is about the presents of Christmas past, American Girls dolls. Why are there so many memes about them suddenly? Which ones did I have growing up? Only the true stans will find out. Everything has stupid fucking names these days. I guess I can't even be mad at Jimmy the MrBeast Donaldson or Logan Paul for that. Just like SEO maximization. So I'm being a little unfair here with the first menu item. Because most of this isn't even Jimmy's doing. But I want to get the least controversial least beast fare out of the way first. Also, from a culinary standpoint, this is the closest thing that I have to a starter. It's like a charcuterie of sorts. Okay. So I do have to say, I got the only vegetarian option, which was the Fiesta nachos, and I had to fucking hunt for these. For a little bit, I wasn't sure that they actually existed. I thought, because I'd only ever heard of people trying the pizza, which is called the pizza in quotation marks, which is so obnoxious. But they do exist. I had to go to Target to get them. I had to like place an order. And I will say, I love nacho cheese. Whether it's at like a fancy cantina with like the real, you know, queso that's melted down and you have to eat it right away before it solidifies again, or the stuff that tastes like they melted down the plastic container that the cheese came in and served it to you. Like I love fake tasting nacho cheese as well. I went to Frankenstein recently and I demolished like 2 containers of that fakey nacho cheese. So I think that like I'm actually gonna really enjoy this because like I won't turn away queso. No quesos refused. Here we go. So the chocolate comes in the chips. It's fine. It's wrapped. It's like a little confetti of chip. I know it's for children, but the portions are very small. Which we'll get into some of the Lunchly controversy and the framing around their healthy options, but I'm already noticing the very small portions. Okay, I'm actually a little disappointed with the fakey cheese. I mean, like, again, no quesos refused. It's actually a little chalky. Okay, what about the and the salsa is disturbingly sugary. Why is it so sweet? It tastes like jam. It almost tastes like a chutney. Like, yeah, very close to a tomato chutney. Not like a salsa. The chips are alright. Now where did I just throw the chocolate bar? The chocolate bar is the Beast contribution. However, I feel like I should be saving this for myself for later because we are going to get into Feastables. Yeah, I'm going to set aside the chocolate. I don't want to spoil the surprise for myself. Have another bite of this. I want to be fair to it. Yeah, again, in the world of fakey quesos, there is like a weird flavor there. Is it aspartame? Is there like an artificial sweetener in it? I think it might just be the preservative. I think that it might be the potassium sorbate or the xanthan gum. It's either the preservative or the xanthan gum to thicken it. Which I'm not so, you know, these are shelf-stable goods. I'm not somebody who's like, if you can't pronounce it, don't eat it. You can't pronounce most things. Like, and I actually know what most of these things are like listed there for. But one of them is making it have like a weird sweetness and a weird texture. And that's even weird for, like, I was expecting it to have a fakiness. And I was kind of looking forward to that fakey nacho cheese. But I would rather have the fakey nacho cheese flavor that you get, like, when you go to the movie theater. You know what I mean? All right, I'm putting that aside for now. I really don't want the rest of it. I do have to try this beverage. This is Prime Hydration. This is Logan Paul's beverage. So I do have to try the other YouTuber drink. This is the other thing that it was meant to promote, that Lunchly is meant to promote. And the flavor is strawberry banana. I'm trying strawberry banana water. It's 5 calories. Yeah, that tastes like if a yogurt was a water. I'm just gonna keep drinking my normal water for the rest of this video. Cool. Lunchly was started in 2024 by MrBeast and fellow YouTubers Logan Paul and KSI, ostensibly as a healthier alternative to Kraft Heinz's Lunchables meal kits, a favorite amongst American children, at least of my generation. Now, I remembered looking up the nutritional info at the time and noting that the difference between Lunchly and Lunchables appeared marginal at best, but it's worse than that. I mean, the Lunchly version of pizza is actually higher in calories, sodium, added sugar, and saturated fat, and lower in protein than the Lunchables version. And the Lunchables version is vegetarian. Additionally, a number of consumers complained that the pizza snack box in particular was often inedible and covered in mold. And a Consumer Reports study found that Lunchly snack kits contained concerning levels of lead. Yeah, I'm not gonna finish eating mine. And listen, I'm not white knighting for Lunchables here either. Neither snack kit is considered an adequate lunch for children. It's not a lunch replacement. It's a salty, sugary, overpriced treat, whether it's by the ketchup guys or the YouTubers. Logan Paul, Jimmy Donaldson, and JJ Olatunji didn't create Lunchly because they actually care about creating healthy alternatives to unhealthy snack foods marketed to their young audience. They wanted to also market unhealthy snack foods to their young audience, and to use Lunchly as a springboard to sell Feastables candy bars and Prime Hydration beverages. And what I just don't understand is why they even needed the whole disingenuous healthy alternatives angle in the first place. All they had to do was create a Lunchables clone and slap their faces on it to basically print money. But they really pushed this healthy alternatives lie, and I saw parents get taken in by it in real time, and that really disgusts me. Like, even more so than that chalky ass queso. I need to sit way back on this one. I was sitting way too far forward last time. That is some flat Diet Pepsi. So far, my favorite thing is this thing that says scan for free stuff. And when you scan it, it just takes you to the menu where the stuff is not free. The stuff is not free. You have to order more stuff for money. Okay, for some reason, my microphone completely rejected the MrBeast burger taste test portion of the script and started making demon screeching sounds from the moment I pulled the burger out. It's kind of weird, right? So I'm doing the review in voiceover. There had been lots of reports that the beef MrBeast burgers and chicken sandwiches often came undercooked and were awful, but the Beast style Impossible burger was incredible. Like, easily one of the top 5 Impossible burgers I've ever had. A perfect smash patty. Vegetarians stay winning. Absolute layup for MrBeast burger. Which is why it's wild that the fries were virtually inedible. Limp, undercooked, no salt, but cinnamon for some reason. I never turn away fried potatoes of any sort, and I went home and fed these to my dog. Fans of YouTube may be familiar with Eddie Burbach's 2023 video on ghost kitchens. If you haven't seen it, I mean, you should, link in the description. But I'll try to sum up any relevant info you need for this video because I love you. And I respect your time. Ghost kitchens were probably an inevitability at this stage of capitalism and the digital age, but they really swept in as an unlikely hero of the short-lived pandemic shutdown era. It's any restaurant that operates completely over mobile orders. Obviously, this allowed for businesses to remain afloat at a time when people weren't eating out, but when the world mostly returned to normal, ghost kitchens continued to... I'm so sorry. That's my punishment from God for burping. Obviously, this allowed a lot of businesses to remain afloat at a time when people weren't eating out, but as the world mostly returned to normal, ghost kitchens continued to operate out of converted warehouse spaces that allowed for multiple restaurants to fulfill orders out of a single kitchen or out of trailers. One of the startups behind these ghost kitchens was called Virtual Dining Concepts and was founded by Robert Earl, the guy who founded Planet Hollywood. And wouldn't you know it, VDC's clients aren't mom and pop businesses trying to stay afloat or establish themselves before they can transition to brick and mortar establishments. They're Chili's and Johnny Rockets and Perkins, 7-Eleven and IHOP. And someone else yoked his name to Virtual Dining Concepts in 2022. One Maison Bête. Like he always does when he wants to make money, Jimmy MrBeast Burger Donaldson framed the establishment of MrBeast Burger as a humanitarian act, pitching the establishment of MrBeast Burger kitchens in existing restaurants as a way for them to stay afloat during the pandemic. But like most of them are actually being sold by third-party startups that didn't actually know how to cook burgers or keep their staff safe or paid and are now mostly going bust. So now the Beast is mad. He's mad because the burgers are bad, and he's suing Virtual Dining Concepts. And I'm sure that's not an exaggeration. Like, I'm sure he's genuinely upset that the burgers that bear his name are raw turds. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants to share a name with a literal turd sandwich. But, like, also, an article released a month ago in Puck revealed that in an internal memo, Donaldson shared what he called his Giga brain play. We win the VDC lawsuit, then we go to Burger King, McDonald's, etc., offer them to buy Beast Burger and put it on their menu exclusively. They can buy it for $300 to $400 million. Then I promote them and we have a royalty deal. This isn't about the quality of VDC's MrBeast Burgers sullying his brand. This is about the non-compete clauses in his contract. You know, that Impossible Burger tasted good, but now I'm really glistening. It's really running through me, you can see. Jimmy has little Happy Meal shaped stars in his eyes with little dollar sign shaped toys inside, and he's mad that he's married to the Planet Hollywood guy right now. If it was Burger King serving us up ice cold Beast Burgers to the tune of many millions of dollar hairs for James and his handlers, you'd hear not a bleat, not a purr, a tremor from the Beast. Okay, so you might be wondering, what's the actual legal claim here? Jimmy and his team are claiming that these scoundrels at Virtual Dining Concepts, these rapscallions with their sloppy management style and their morally bankrupt business dealings, have harmed his brand identity as a paragon of integrity and authenticity and stymied his growth as an influencer. Robert Earl's legal team have, of course, responded to this by pointing out that since the deal, his subscriber count has continued to grow. He netted a 300 million Series C venture capital funding last year and has a $5 billion valuation. But Jimmy was just like, yeah, but I could be more successful if it weren't for you guys. In a countersuit filed by VDC, their lawyer, Bill Carmody, also revealed that in 2022, Jimmy Donaldson sought to renegotiate their 50-50 revenue split so that Beast Industries would take closer to 80%. That fell through, and Jimmy and Robert had a little screaming fit about it. Apparently slammed a few doors, allegedly broke a little clothes hanger. You know, things you do when you just care so much about the cold burgers and your wholesome image as a YouTuber that younger boys really look up to. It's about the money, you guys. It's about the money. He wants Happy Meals or Burger Kings or Jack's in boxes. Whoever will pay him the most to slap those lightless eyes on the side of a paper bag. So I guess as an honorable mention here, I should say that as of this year, MrBeast also has slapped his name on some Jack Link's jerky sticks, but I will not be eating those. I've been known to break my own vegetarianism, flexitarianism from time to time for the purposes of a video, but I've never seen the point of meat jerkies unless you're like the Donner Party or whatever. They smell like gastrointestinal distress and they taste like a rubbery salt lick. Preparing meat this way is an insult to the creature that was murdered to provide your sustenance. The only deeper insult is slapping a YouTuber's name on the side of the plastic packaging. Let's eat MrBeast chocolate. Let's start with the classic. Let's start with milk, the purest flavor. Get the best idea of what his chocolate actually tastes like. Let's get a look at it. All right, a little bit of white around the side. Wait, it looks like there's some crunch in there. Is this milk crunch? Fuck, I opened the wrong one. This is milk crunch. God damn it. Well, we're starting with milk crunch. So this is a milk crispy. What are they called? Can't remember. Tastes just like the one I remember. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, this is the milk chocolate. This is milk chocolate. So they do just both taste like Hershey's bars, which not really my favorite. I do need a little bit more cocoa in there than that. So a lot of Europeans don't like American chocolate. And the reason is America has, the US at least, has like much lower standards for what we're allowed to call chocolate. I don't think we actually have a standard for what we're allowed to call chocolate. Like any amount of cocoa in something is allowed to be called chocolate. So you can put like minuscule amounts of cocoa and then fill it up with cheaper things. Whereas Europe does have some standards before something's allowed to be called chocolate. And that's why Hershey's tastes weird, is because it's cheap. It's filled with like sugar basically, because sugar is cheaper than cocoa. And that's why it tastes like shit. And this, I would be willing to bet, would not be allowed to be called chocolate. And I would be curious to know if like maybe Feastables, if there is Feastables in Europe, if it's a slightly different recipe than Feastables in the US. No, Feastables with peanut butter. I bet the peanut butter hides a lot. Yeah, that's the best one. Peanut butter can cover for a lot. Yeah, all this is trash. So I thought it would be like a really funny bit or reference or whatever to record the video in my car. You know, like all those YouTubers who, or TikTokers or whatever, who try fast food in their cars for some reason. There's a lot of people who eat food in their cars. And I quickly learned that it's a miserable, terrible way to make content. So I gave up on that bit and I came home and set up in my office. And I'm just gonna do the rest of the video from here because going into 2026, I'm gonna be prioritizing my own comfort, if that's okay with you guys. Cool. Jimmy got into some hot water back in 2023 because he was like tweeting at his fans and telling them to go to the grocery store and tidy up his chocolate bar displays for him. Very tacky behavior. Either trust the stores to keep their own displays neat or hire your own visual merchandising specialists and pay them, MrBeast. Don't exploit children for free labor, you pasty little weirdo. Hey, speaking of exploitation, let's talk about the real shit. The Beast games. I'm gonna try to sum this up for the blessed and pure amongst us who aren't as familiar with Jimmy's oeuvre. A lot of his viral videos are challenges. Stay in the circle, win money. Stay in the grocery store, win money. Stay in the airplane, win money. A lot of them actually just involve remaining in one place for an inhumane amount of time and winning money. He also recreated a lot of the games from Squid Game and made desperate people compete for them without a hint of irony or retrospection. So Amazon came along and offered him money to create a game show where, wouldn't you know, desperate people would compete in challenges for a chance to win money. There is now a class action lawsuit that has been filed against Amazon Alternative LLC, Jimmy Donaldson, and the third producer on the show, Off One's Base LLC, following the first round of gameplay on that game show. The lawsuit has been filed in Los Angeles County on behalf of 5 contestants alleging general mistreatment, unpaid wages and labor violations, lack of medical care, inadequate food, and sexual harassment. Full disclosure, not a lawyer, just a messy bitch who has worked in the entertainment industry. The unpaid wages might actually be the trickiest thing to stick the landing on here because game shows where you're competing for cash prizes actually don't have to pay you for your time. However, if they have it in writing somewhere that they were promised some money for competing or for making it to some stage of the competition and they weren't paid out, then they probably can get his ass for that. I mean, I assume that their lawyers know what they're doing. And it sounds like maybe that was the case. A New York Times expose on the games found that one woman was even handed a $1,000 wad of cash on camera and then forced to hand it back over when the camera stopped rolling. And she has not since been paid out. But even if game shows don't have to pay you for your time, they do still have to adhere to other labor laws, like allowing for adequate breaks and meals, which contestants on Beast Games were not given. In fact, they were so severely underfed that several contestants left the stadium that the TV show was filmed in on stretchers. Multiple contestants were hospitalized for dehydration. At least 2 individuals had seizures, allegedly as a result of being denied food and water. And according to the New York Times story, a contestant described watching fellow contestants vomiting and appearing to pass out. Despite assurances that contestants would be fed 3 meals a day and that any contestants with medical needs would be taken care of, Beast Games production staff were unhelpful and at times even hostile towards contestants. One contestant reported going 20 hours without a meal. Contestants with food allergies were not provided alternatives, despite this information being gathered from all participants before the start of production, and medications, including insulin, were withheld from contestants for hours or even days past their scheduled dosing times. They did pass around some Feastables chocolate bars at one point and had contestants smile with them for the cameras. The games themselves also appeared to be run with all the health and safety of s'mores and padlocks night down at the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory, because contestants also described falling to the ground and fearing being trampled in the crush of 400 people at the start of one game, as the useless fucking production assistants were utterly powerless to do anything. And oh boy, If that's enough to put you off your fair trade chocolate bar, wait until you hear about all the sexual harassment. Or actually, there's not a lot you can hear, because within this 54-page class action lawsuit, by far the most heavily redacted pages released to the public are those that have to do with the sexual harassment of 5 women working on the set of a television show produced by the biggest company in the world and a YouTuber that statistically your middle school-age son is watching. I think this excerpt is particularly damning. Look at all that black. But here's what we can piece together. The lawsuit refers to an alleged handbook, How to Succeed in MrBeast Production, that promotes boys will be boys working conditions amongst Jimmy Donaldson's production staff. Really do everything you can to empower the boys when filming and help them make content. Help them be idiots. And if talent wants to draw a dick on the whiteboard in the video or do something stupid, let them. The plaintiffs argued that this laid the groundwork for the collective sexual harassment of female contestants and employees that occurred during the filming of the first round of Beast Games. The details and extent of the sexual harassment in the lawsuit are at this point unclear. They're either being redacted to protect the privacy of the victims or to play ball with any non-disclosure agreements that were signed for the time being, or some mixture of the two. And if MrBeast was found to be violating some Title VII rights, those NDAs are going to be ND void. Not a lawyer, but also if someone tries to violate your civil rights and get you to sign away your right to blab about it, please talk to one. So we don't know very much for certain in the actual lawsuit. What do we actually know about the misogyny on the production of the Beast Games? Well, returning to the New York Times article, we know that the culture of empowering the boys also meant pushing women out of teams. Some male contestants refused to pass pennies to female contestants, with the result that one of the teams was predominantly women, contestants said. Several people interviewed for this article felt that they had not had a fair chance at winning the prize money, given the way the teams were formed. The lack of safety protocols also extended to things like sleeping arrangements, with everyone sleeping together in a big stadium. This tweet by a YouTuber and fellow MrBeast hater Rosanna Pansino is actually included in the court filing for the lawsuit.
I have received confirmation from 5 verified contestants that for the first round of Beast Games, a man named Armani Izzati was allowed to compete. He was previously charged with at least 20 counts for battery, kidnapping, pandering, pimping, and robbery. He pled guilty to the pimping charge, acknowledging the significant evidence against him. He allegedly also slept near female contestants before being kicked off set for inappropriate behavior. Some of the female contestants confirmed being very uncomfortable around him. He is also friends with Jake Paul and other influencers. Why was there not adequate background checks to catch people like this?
And I think most disgusting of all, actually, I'll just read the quote on this one. Contestants were instructed to supply the production staff with a Ziploc bag containing 5 days' worth of undergarments, which would be distributed to contestants once the games were underway. But several contestants said they had waited hours or even days to receive their clean underwear. One woman said that when she and a group of contestants who were menstruating during the event had asked the production staff about getting their underwear more quickly, she had been told that it was not a medical emergency, and she recalled that a nearby member of the production staff had laughed at the woman's pleading. Yeah, this isn't production staff being overwhelmed and underprepared. That isn't people doing their best and fucking up. That's misogyny and wanton cruelty. That's trying to humiliate someone you perceive as less than. Maybe it's even good TV. If she bleeds through her pants or cries, maybe the little boys who watch it will think it's funny. And they'll laugh and laugh and laugh. As much of a MrBeast hater as I am, I'm sure he didn't mean for things to spin this far out of control. He actually doesn't seem like that much of a sex pest, and maybe this is just wishful thinking, but I bet he's feeling pretty disgusted with the workplace culture that he fostered. I think he probably did kind of want a few people to faint because it's good TV, but he probably didn't want anyone to get toxic shock syndrome from not being able to change their tampon for 40 hours, or diabetes sufferers to have seizures because the key twirlers he was underpaying wouldn't give them a fucking banana, or whatever. But the reason he's the locus of so much controversy isn't because he's super rich, because I mean, he is rich, but actually you can't get that much money out of him. Beast Industries runs on razor thin margins, and he's falling comically short of his own internal projections. It's because he's kind of dumb, and he lies a lot. He's a stupid entertainer, and everyone who loves him or hates him or, God forbid, wants him to go into politics one day needs to remember that. I gotta cleanse my palate. Okay, so Jimmy's most recent controversy is this video he made earlier this year called "I Explored 2,000-Year-Old Ancient Temples," where, with the blessing of the Mexican Board of Tourism, he visits Chichen Itza and Calakmul. However, at a certain point during the video, he uses deceptive footage to make it appear as if he's using a helicopter to descend upon an ancient pyramid, and also holds a reproduction of a mask, implying that it's an actual archaeological object. And he says, "I can't believe the government's letting us do this." He then plugs his Feastables chocolate. The Mexican government was not happy with this video. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum called an investigation into the conditions under which MrBeast's permit was authorized, and Mexico's Secretary of Culture, Claudia Curiel de Casa, issued a statement saying, "We disapprove of any commercial pursuit that distorts the value of archaeological sites, which are a legacy of our indigenous cultures and the pride of our nation." She did add that Mexico was open to knowledge and dissemination of Mexico's archaeological and cultural heritage, and people will inevitably defend this video as doing just that, even if it stretches the truth, and even if it's just a glorified ad for Feastables chocolate bars. This is similar to a narrative that I see that constantly swirls around MrBeast. Another common genre of beast vid is the philanthrotainment video. He pays for some cataract surgeries or heart surgeries, or to install some wells in a village in Africa, or just gives some needy families cash, and in return, he makes some content and makes some money off of it. A lot of people are like, what's so wrong with that? And listen, I've openly defended famous people using their platforms to advocate for the underserved, but I don't really see that happening. I see a handful of vanity projects that he did for personal profit, so I'm happy for the people that he helped, if they're even still in a good place in their lives, because those things that he gave them need upkeep and maintenance for the most part, but I don't actually think he's a good person for exploiting other people's needs to make a profit. Just an average capitalist. And furthermore, I've seen people point to him like he's an example of a way to organize society. Like, all we need is for all the rich people to do vanity projects in order for all of our charitable needs to be met. And I don't know if you've noticed this, but literally every rich person already does that. Charities are tax deductible and good PR. The thing is, not every need is sexy or makes for an entertaining YouTube video. So people are still very much going wanting, because it's actually a lot more fun and lucrative to pay for someone's cataract surgery than the round-the-clock care for their high-needs child. And you can give your cataract surgery YouTube video a hyperbolic title like 1,000 blind people see for the first time. I'm sure MrBeast does actually care a little. He wouldn't have come up with the idea of doing a nice thing in a video if he didn't at all. Probably. But he's primarily trying to make money. He's trying to make $4.78 billion in revenue by 2029. And he exists in a world in which, if you're going to do that, you're not making a YouTube video about the charitable act that's most in demand. You're making a YouTube video about the charitable act that slobs like you, sitting at home, are going to click your sticky little mouse fingers on the fastest and keep your bloodshot little eyes glued on the longest. Understand the context and algorithms, the systems that he's operating within. That I am, for that matter. I need to pay rent. I would like to buy my loved ones some nice Christmas gifts. You know, I care about the harassment and the abuse that has gone on under Jimmy Mr. Donaldson Beast's watch, but there are worse people in the world that I could be talking about. But at the end of the day, I know that if I slap his dead-eyed face on a thumbnail, people will click. And this is partially a mercenary venture. What I'm saying is don't listen to any of us influencers. Or take what we say with a pinch of cold fry salt or cinnamon, because our motives can never be entirely pure. Not when there's money on the line. And please, don't let this vacant husk of a man run for president.